We have a new evolution of NFTs in the Cardano ecosystem, and this is dynamic NFTs. These ones allow you to continuously upgrade your NFTs or change how they are from one state to another. So this is really good for, let's say, real-fi applications for a land deed, for example, that may be passed from one person to another, or something that would influence that land deed to change, such as a death of someone, that would then trigger a smart contract to then push it off to another person. So this makes that NFT so much more dynamic, so much more interesting, and the utilities around this are mind-boggling. There's going to be so many different scenarios of how you can actually use this, different use cases. It's pretty much endless. I'm pretty excited to see where this space is going to be evolving to. In this interview, I have Nick from Saturn NFT joining me. I met him at CNFTCon in 2022. It's pretty cool meeting him there, and also at Rare Bloom as well. You may have seen him featured in one of my Sunday Swap videos where we talked about Hydra. He's a pretty excited and pretty animated type of guy, but actually a very experienced developer too. So let's get into this interview all around dynamic NFTs.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.
Welcome to the podcast.
Awesome. Very nice to be here, Pete.
It's good to see you again as well. It's the last time, well, I met you at CNFTCon.
Yeah, on the line for the party.
Yeah.
We were right at the front and it still took an hour.
I know, it was ridiculous, but hopefully I get to go again this year and no long lines like we had last time.
Yeah.
But you've been working hard. You've been like, we were talking the line, you were going to do like a big YouTube channel, but now you got segued into this brand new project here. Can you tell us about CIP-68 and exactly what it is first?
Yeah, basically one of the things that that happened at CNFTCon basically towards the end was I ended up talking to Alessandro, who is the founder of SpaceBuds, and he made a really good pitch for why CIP-68 and what this is. I'll explain a little bit what this is, but essentially it's a new way for Cardano NFTs to add more dynamic programmability to them. And originally when Alessandro also wrote the original standard for Cardano NFTs, that was before smart contracts existed on Cardano. So when he did all of this, he didn't, he obviously didn't account for smart contracts because they didn't exist. So now, fast forward, 6 months after that, smart contracts launch, and then now all of a sudden you have these NFTs that it's pretty nice the way you could just make them pretty easily, but they're all static. You either have a totally open policy or a totally closed policy. And then the data is not actually on the NFT, it's on the minting transaction. And so all of these like DB Sync, and then people just read that data and then post that as the NFT. So that's worked fine for about 2 years. But now what's happening is you see the kind of NFT space shifting. We're in this bear market right now, and I don't, people always talk about when the bull occurs. I don't really like to talk about that. I like to say the bull market will occur when we do something so crazy and so insane that people have to take notice. And you start to see that happening with ETH NFTs now, where they're really pushing hard on the gaming aspect, a lot of this programmability, and we can't let Cardano fall behind. I mean, that's pretty much the synthesis of this. So I was talking to Alessandro, who made this pitch, and then I was 100% all in, coding 3 months straight, basically, to get it done. So what CIP-68 is now, instead of the data being on the minting transaction, it's in the smart contract datum. It's in the UTXO of the datum. So what that means is basically you've got the NFT in your wallet, but that NFT in your wallet, it doesn't really have any data on it. It just points to another NFT that's in a smart contract. So this was one of the confusing parts when we minted the Moon Blobs, which is kind of this first kind of test showcase of the CIP-68. People were like, well, why is it minting 2 NFTs during the transaction? People weren't sure what was going on. Is because one NFT is going into their wallet and the second NFT is going into the smart contract. And now in this smart contract, you can actually update the metadata in real time. You don't need to burn the asset. You don't do anything crazy. You can update it according to whatever that smart contract allows. And so we have a pretty generic contract. We've accounted for a lot of different things. Some things we have not announced yet. So I know there's going to be a lot of people that are now rushing to get to CIP-68. So we'll have more to announce once we know that they've worked a little bit on their contracts, and then we have a little bit more of an edge, a little business savviness there. But the whole idea is that you want to be upgrading these NFTs. You want to be evolving and adjusting them depending on whatever your conditions are. And this is great for gaming. I come from a kind of a game dev background. I've got 30,000 subscribers on YouTube for game dev, but gamers don't like NFTs, and that's kind of what's going to shift in the next couple of months. And this upgradability is going to be at the core of that gaming NFT. You've got some sort of special item or weapon that's made probably only cosmetic, because gamers don't really like pay to win type of stuff. But you could upgrade that according to what you've done in the game. So for the moon blobs, I wrote a small game where if you beat the bosses, you can upgrade the blobs. And so this is kind of putting the achievements on the game and adding something special to the holders, adding a reason to interact with the community. And what's going to happen now is a lot of these games are going to start leveraging this, but also community projects are going to start using it to add more functionality to it. And something else that's interesting is normally with NFTs, and this is the case on ETH as well, you've got this huge funding round with this mint. And you've got this big hype mint, sells out, you've got 10,000, 100,000, whatever the number is, and then all of a sudden the project now has a couple $1 million cash injection, and then not a whole lot of incentive to do a crazy amount of work. It's almost become a meme in 2021 where you had, Pixelmon and stuff raise millions of dollars and then just have, release crap. This is actually...
We can move on.
Yes. But this is something now that I think is going to be interesting, because now the NFT project is not totally reliant on this one big mint. And so now an NFT project can launch their project for maybe the same mint price, maybe cheaper, but then if they really want to get that revenue over time, they have to convince their holders to upgrade their NFT with whatever that does. Yeah. So now you can get more revenue over time, but only if you're delivering and convincing your holders to stay loyal and continue on with you. And so that's basically what we've done with the blobs. And so, the blobs, when we launched, it was one ADA super cheap kind of a test case, but we've gained 40% extra revenue from that already, and it's been about a week. And so now as the project moves forward, we have to convince our holders why they should level up their blob, what benefits do they get. And so what's kind of nice is it doesn't have to be super rigid. You don't have to have this completed white paper thing. You can kind of make things up on the fly and say like, hey, we're now going to do an event or something of that nature, where if you have a level 5 blob, you can get a ticket to it or something of that nature. So it really allows NFT projects to do a lot more for their holders, and in return, the holders provide extra funding back to them. And that's something exciting, I think, about it. You're going to have less rugs, you're going to have more funding. And I think this is something that really can bring us slowly out of this bear market, because once you see projects now being run like businesses, then all of a sudden you got a lot more people in.
It's really interesting that you're talking about all this. Recently I just saw MetaMask release its SDK for Unity integration in. So, they're going heavy into that game development space.
They see it.
Yeah, they know where this space is going. So it's definitely exactly where we want to be. And, having this groundwork and framework in place so that game devs can actually upgrade NFTs and integrate into the game is so cool. It's definitely the right spot to be. Now, I'm just trying to work through and visualize some of these use cases for these, first of all, forget these space blobs, but some other use cases of how games can actually go through and upgrade their NFTs. Because we're looking at using CIP-68 as well for our own Wapus, our NFT collection that we're doing. So I'm mind boggled as to what possibilities there could be. Can you give me a couple of other examples?
Yeah, so the one that I like the most that kind of hits close to home, which is what I've done with the blobs, is that let's say you've played a game, you've played it for years, you grew up with it, you've got the achievements in the game and the servers go down. It's done. There's no more game. This happened to me when I played on a website, kind of like a mini clip type of thing called FunOrb, which is an extension of what RuneScape was, if you ever heard of that. And I was super good at the games. I had all these achievements and everything. I was an achievement hunter, top 18 or something. And then the website's gone. It's totally gone. All of the progress is lost and all that. What I wouldn't give to pay a couple bucks to put those achievements on chain. I mean, that's already a huge value proposition for just from a nostalgia perspective. But I think a lot of games are going to get this wrong, and they did, is that they're going to do these NFTs as kind of like, you know, you buy this super strong weapon and then you beat the game, whatever. Gamers don't like that. That's not really what NFTs are going to be. NFTs are going to be really like the shiny Pokemon of NFT gaming. So you've got your, you know, whatever game it is, you've got your skin, you've got, you know, your Goombas, for example. Maybe if you own the Goombal, you have like a special version or more of a flex version. It's going to be almost purely cosmetic. Those are the ones that are going to succeed. And so if I have this special skin or this special, you know, character, you know, appearance, you can upgrade them if you know, rank up on that character or you're very loyal to that character. I think that's going to be kind of the primary use case for a lot of the gaming aspect, because that hits that balance between not pay to win, but still you've got, you know, your progress saved on chain and things like that. So that's kind of the first instance of it. But then you also have things like, you know, what the Ape Society is doing with their frames. Their frames, they kind of, they're doing the leveling system, but it's, you know, you've got to burn the NFT and it's like locked in your, like it's a little bit janky. It does work. But now you can have this kind of smooth upgrade transition. And also you could see the history over time. So that's kind of another nice addition to that. But then also for something like Cardano Press, you can say to your, you know, your power users, you know, you guys get an invite to this, you know, VIP event that you guys host at CNFTCon, or pretty much any, maybe you get like a discount on some things. There's just a whole slew of things that could be thought of in terms of like providing value to your holders to convince them to upgrade. We're working with John Merz right now, who's one of the Book.io authors, and he launched a graphic novel. And if you upgrade, you get the next chapter of the novel. So that's pretty cool as well.
That is cool. So you basically buy chapter by chapter, and if you're interested in the book, wow, okay, that's really
and that's
cool.
how manga works in Japan. So it's like, oh, that's actually just a very smooth process. We're trying to ask Pool PM right now if they can show the history of the upgrades, because with CIP-68, the upgrade history is deterministic. You can see it all within the UTXO chain. So you just need to read like from the minting transaction through the chain, and you can see all of the actual upgrades that have been performed.
Wow, it would be really cool to see that visualization. I think I did see you tweet that out. It's like, you know, can we get this upgraded? So I was watching that, so it'd be interesting to see that all come into play. Now, one scenario that I was thinking about using the NFT for on the Cardano Press site was for one-on-one ticketed support. But then I would burn that NFT and then graveyard it forever. But this way you could like use that mechanism to upgrade the NFT and then say it's been used for ticket support and you can't use that NFT again.
Well, another thing you can do as well is you can do subscription services. Let's say you want to have, you know, some extra, you know, support in this case, and they have to sign up for a subscription service. They can, you can basically have an upgrade transaction that just marks a time that the subscription ends. So when they connect to a Cardano Press website, the website can read that NFT, say, okay, this person has support for another 10 days. And then after that, they have to re-upgrade for the next 30 days. So you can do that type of thing as well.
Smooth. Perfect. That's exactly what I was after. Because I was going to look at the mint date or the last sold date, some sort of data that I could see like when it was last transacted. So, and if I could find that, then I'll know how long that support is available for that particular NFT. So if it was just mint date, that's kind of pretty easy. But then, you know, if they minted 2-3 years ago, then support for that NFT would have expired. But this is cool. All right, cool. I'm getting more ideas and ways to actually use this.
Every time I talk to someone thinks of something new, and it's kind of one of those open-ended things because it hasn't really been done before, not even on ETH, because ETH, you have to like pre-code a lot of things, whereas Cardano, you get this nice clean slate. And so people have just kind of been throwing out ideas, seeing if they stick, and then a lot of them have actually been pretty good.
All right, this membership site thing is going to be absolutely fantastic because that's what Cardano Press was primarily built for, membership-based websites. So you know, if you got the NFT, if the membership is valid, then you get access to the content of the site. It's just smooth. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Now, in terms of like upgrading the NFT, I'm assuming like you could use ADA, but what about projects that have their own token? Can we use our own tokens and stuff?
Yes. So it's almost become a meme where like people are like staking NFTs for useless token. Well, not useless anymore. Now you can actually use them to upgrade. So that was kind of another of the ideas, is that you've got a lot of these projects where they're staking either with, you know, mutants or some other service, and you've got this token. What do you do with this token now? People are trying to figure out how to gamify their ecosystem for it. And there's going to be more things that these tokens will need to be good for in order to really be valuable. But paying for an upgrade on your NFT is a huge value, especially if you have like a game. I know, for example, the Mallard Order has, you know, this Discord game type of thing they're planning with this kind of Discord adventure idea, and that's the type of thing where, you know, you upgrade whatever NFT you know, you get to the next realm or something, you pay in Rune or something like that. That's an idea that can be used very easily for that. Or some other, like Book.io, for example. Now they can do, you know, you can upgrade your NFT to a rarer version if you've got their token and you've actually read the book. That's kind of like another thing I thought was pretty funny, is that, you know, with Book, you can do something like, if you actually read the book, you can now reward that person for actually reading the book or things of that nature. But upgrading definitely is very versatile in that way, in that you can pay with different tokens. You can pay with ADA and then subscriptions. There's just so much. And then there's like 2 or 3 things that we haven't announced too, like I mentioned earlier, that I'm not going to, I might leak one here, but I'm not going to leak all of them because we need to keep some things close.
All right. Well, you know, if you choose to, you know, you're teasing me here. You got to give me something.
I'll leak one. Okay. So one of the nice things, and this is more of a gaming aspect, but this actually, I like this idea for one-of-one artists as well, is that built into our contract, we have something called a soulbound NFT. And so what you could do with this is that it's effectively an NFT that can't be traded. So you mint your soulbound NFT, and the address, the minting address, is permanently locked on a field in the smart contract. And so anyone can see that this was the original mint address, and that is the true owner of the address. So if any gaming or whatever is looking at a person's NFTs and they see, oh, this person is not associated with this address, they know not to apply it. So it's really for, like, if you've got you know, a nice gaming item that's specifically, you know, it's, I guess Vitalik kind of coined this from World of Warcraft. It's soulbound. It is yours and only yours. Yeah. But if you wanted to do this with CIP, you really can't do this with CIP-25 and perform the upgrades, and now you can. So this is kind of a nice little thing with soulbounds. But I like the idea for one-of-one artists. So maybe you've got your most dedicated one-of-one artist holders. Now you give them like a special soulbound NFT that they can upgrade and animate and things like that. I think that's super cool. I know kind of the one-on-one artist type of scene has been slipping on Cardano for a little while, and I think this can pull it back. You do have some very talented artists here.
Wow, that's interesting. I have stumbled across a lot of new one-of-one artists recently. They seem to be coming out of like a Korea and Indonesia at the moment. So I'm just stumbling across these guys. They're doing absolutely amazing anime art, and you know, it's I love it. So you know, these guys are absolutely killing it and draining my wallet. But you know, it's it's a good thing for them. Always, you know. Okay, now going back to the upgrade of the NFTs and using any sort of token. So I love this idea and scenario because we've got the Learn Cardano website as well. And we've got like courses on there. And one of the courses that you can do is like a min swap course where you can go through, learn how to use the DEX, get rewarded with an NFT and some min tokens. You could really easily just use those min tokens to upgrade your certificate to say that, you know, you've passed this particular course. And, you know, if can you put in the logic like we say we've passed course 1, 2, and 3, which means now you can upgrade your NFT to say that you've passed course 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you can basically upgrade it. You could pay in the token. They can make it a cheap price, like a couple min, and basically just have that as your you know, proof of I guess like completion or something like that. Yeah. But you're kind of like eking into another field that I think CIP-68 is going to be good at, because you have this rift in the Cardano community right now with like the NFT degen flipper type of community, and then more of the like the corporate kind of IOHK like RealFi type. Like you're getting kind of this rift that's kind of occurring. You can see it in some Twitter spaces in real time, and I don't know if this will happen, but my thought is that CIP-68 has the power to kind of bring them together, because you have this situation where, you know, flippers can still flip. They can upgrade the NFT, flip the upgrade. They can build like an upgrade service. Some people are doing it with the blobs. When they're still flipping, they're still kind of having a good time with that. But then also this tech can also be used for RealFi, which is actually a lot of what Charles was talking about, you know, very early on in NFTs, because now you can dynamically update one of the NFTs corresponding to some real world item. There's still more work that has to be done for that to be a reality. But if that is going to be a reality, the NFT has to be readable in smart contracts. And so this kind of starts to bridge that gap to where a lot of the corporate side also wants to see NFTs. And it's much more flexible than on Ethereum. So that's why I think you're going to see this rift kind of coming together a little bit more because of this standard. And so I'm happy about it. We'll have to see how it shakes up, but I'm optimistic.
Okay. So you said something interesting there. So upgrade of the NFT based on some sort of external real world event.
Yes.
You mean like when a company completes the launch of their game or something, the NFTs upgrade or something? Is that kind of what you mean?
Yes. Here's an idea that Nintendo, if they're listening, you know, they should definitely do.
Okay.
So basically, I'm a diehard Zelda fan, and more gaming stuff, of course. But I go to the midnight release of basically every Zelda game. It's coming out in 2-3 months, whatever. I'll be at Nintendo of New York, outside, boom, waiting the 24 hours to get the game. And so, you know, what it would be pretty nice if, as a digital limited edition copy of the game itself was an NFT, and that if you go to these events, you can actually upgrade that NFT to showcase you were there or something of that nature. So that's more kind of this bridging the real world into NFTs type of thing. Still more work needs to be done. This is not, you know, it's not going to happen tomorrow or in a couple months. But when these ideas get synthesized, when you bring oracles into it, when you bring all this stuff, there's so much more innovation that has to be done. And you could create some very seamless experiences that as the world moves more online, especially with AI, because, you know, I love NFTs. AI is obviously crazy bullish right now. NFTs are going to be very valuable because that's where the ownership is going to be.
Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. All right, let's have a look at the platform. Let's see what you guys have built.
Yes.
I'd love to see how this all works, especially with the space blobs.
Cool. So this is Saturn. So Saturn is our NFT creation and upgrade platform. So Saturn is the Roman god of creation. So it's like, okay, we want to do some space things. Saturn is a great opportunity for that. So we've got, you know, a simple wallet login type of thing. So I'll basically just go through a very simple blob mint, and then I'll kind of showcase how it all works. So if you wanted to start an NFT project, you basically click here and go here, and then you've got kind of this nice screen. You can add some NFTs like this. Or you can, you can edit them like that, or you can select them to delete the NFTs, for example. And there's a couple other filters like show advanced. You can download the metadata, automatically name them and stuff like that. But that's kind of the basic stuff for it. Then you've got your collection creation. And this is where some of the magic is with CIP-68. So we're actually branding it as dynamic versus static NFTs, because if you say CIP-68 to the average person, they're not going to know what the crap that is. They're going to be like, So basically, we're going to brand them as dynamic versus static NFTs. And I think that's a fair branding. We have a nice little help icon here for this. But dynamic effectively means this is going to be a CIP-68 NFT. So I'll basically have moon blobs here. And I'll just say the price will be, make it like 5 ADA or something like that. And then, you know, all this is fine. We try to make it so the defaults are as useful as possible, because so, you know, we're not going to bother changing the defaults. We'll save. And then now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to upload some metadata, because I have some metadata for the blobs. So we're going to upload the metadata. But people can upload images here or the metadata, or we've actually built an automated image generator. So some people can actually upload layers, for example, and then they can preview that here. I don't want to show that. Well, I could kind of show one round of that. We'll do that super quick, actually.
Because this stage is when people be using hash lips or something like that, or there's quite a few of them now, and some people just don't know how to use those scripts. But this is for an artist or someone that's just designing all the layers, and they know how to do that part, but they don't know how to use the scripts. This is good.
So the moon blobs actually were created with this. So I'll kind of just show a very, very basic example. Do a blue blob. So okay, we got a blue blob here, and then and then we'll put a red blob here. Okay. So we got red, we got blue, and then we'll just do 50-50 here. And then this will be blob, and then background. Oops. Let me just add 2 backgrounds. Let me grab. Oops. All right, so we got some planet backgrounds here. We'll grab this moon.
Nice.
And then we'll grab this shiny Jupiter. So we'll just do moon. Cool. We'll save that. And then now, I want to rearrange these because I want the background to be in the back. And now if I preview, you can see we now have our blob on top of the shiny Jupiter.
Nice.
And you could keep previewing until you get, the combination that you want. So you got the moon and blue or things of that nature. Or you can generate 4 of them, and then it'll just allow you to download all of them. So that's basically how the system works here. This is how the moon blobs are actually created. So I basically had the layers and then dragged them all with that. But now we'll actually upload the images. Whoops. There we go. Now I'll actually upload the metadata. So normally you'd upload the images, which will put them in IPFS. I've already done that, so I'm just going to upload metadata for them. So let's go to... And cool. So we've got the 10 moon blobs in this system, and so now I'm just going to mint one, and I'll do a regular mint. So you'd basically start the mint, and then you'd go to our payment page, and it's got like a nice kind of showcase of the blobs, and I'll just mint one at random, and so sign the transaction. The money is going back into my wallet, which is why the number is incorrect. So that's basically why that's happening. Okay. And then 4 is going to the smart contract and the payment wallet. So a couple things happening right now in a fairly complicated transaction. But let me sign this off screen. And voila, so we've got our blob. And so I got blob number 3. And so now I'll just showcase really quickly the CIP-68 portion of this. So I'll enter back into the studio. So here is the NFT collection part. That's actually the minting. But now we're going to build an upgrade system for these blobs. And so I'm right over here. So I'm going to create an upgrade project for the blob project that I just did. And now you get to this nice screen here where you've got like this blob and then these levels and all this stuff. This is basically how you build these leveling systems. So right now I'm not going to go too in depth into it, but I'm going to showcase how it works when I already have some uploadable metadata. So let me upload some of these. And I'll just upload the first 10. Oops. And for those who are interested, the metadata looks something like this.
Yeah, I'd like to get examples of the metadata, or if
I can send you some. I think that would be. Yeah, but this is a little different from CIP-25. So this is the CIP-68 version of the metadata, much cleaner in my opinion. But here you can see it's got the shiny, level, color, belt, standard metadata stuff, along with the file systems and things of that nature. But I think it is a nice, flatter, smoother format for actual like data processing. So now we'll just upload the first 10 here. Cool. So these are uploaded, and now in our screen you see we've got this nice transition of blobs based on color. And so this is how the actual moon blobs works, but we've just uploaded them, and now we own moon blob 3. So when we upgrade it, we'll get this image that IPFS hasn't loaded yet, but will load in a couple seconds.
It's getting there, yeah.
Yeah, and so we've got this upgrade path. But what we're going to do before we actually start this is we're going to just change some of these levels up. So I don't want any conditions here. I can set experience points or, time since last upgrade. I don't want any of that. So we're going to just get rid of all of that. Let's just get rid of all that here.
Wow, this is getting quite complex. So not only do you have to work, you have to work out each leveling step and how each NFT is going to look at each level as well.
Yes, so there is a lot of complication in this. We tried to make it because we really wanted this, the initial version to be this, rigid leveling system. We have a lot more stuff in the pipeline for even more complex stuff. Right now, that's built into the APIs, not built into the actual UI. But for right here, I'll just kind of set the upgrade. I'll set it to 6 just to show it's doing something different. So I'll set these prices to 6, so it's not actually doing anything crazy. And then I'll set this price to 6. This is kind of a default if you want to go backwards. So we'll save the levels. Not saved. And then we can see this is going to be the blob we're going to be upgrading. So upgrade settings. We're going to start the project. And we've started. And so now we go to the page. All right, so now we're on this page. Now, we still have to make a little button over here that's like, show only my NFTs. Development takes a little bit of time, so I haven't done that yet. So right now we got to search it. So we'll search for our adorable little blob. And here we've got the upgrade page where we're upgrading from level 1 to level 2. And now we just upgrade the NFT. And this performs the smart contract transaction. So same thing as before, the money's going back into my wallet, so it's not actually showing it. But here you have this this contract that's spending the UTXO in the contract and recreating a UTXO in the contract with the new data and the new color. So I'm going to sign this off screen here. And voila, we've upgraded a blob from level 1 to level 2. So that's so that's basically how the system works. This is kind of the front-facing version of the system. The APIs have even more functionality. Some people are using kind of our arbitrary upgrade system where they can upgrade not just levels, but they can upgrade to anything based on any condition they choose. So there's a lot of flexibility that we built into the contract to make sure that we just have everything that Cardano could possibly want.
Right. Okay. Now, there's another interesting thing you said there. So this does have an API on it. So I could integrate this entire process into Cardano Press and allow anyone to go forth with it.
Yes, 100%.
All right. Where's the API documentation?
Yeah, so we've got the API documentation here. This is the GraphQL API. Right now, my brother's actually working right over there for a site guide. So I'll just kind of show an example of what it'll look like. But if we look at Cardano Icon...
You can show them the pre-prod version. It'll show it.
Yes. Oh, pre-prod. Okay, I'll do that. So Icon, which is going to be a smart contract language on Cardano. I think this is going to take Cardano to the next level. So, some pre-press for them. Yeah. But their documentation is very, very nice. They've been very generous to tell us how they did this. So we basically copied them. So shout out to Lucas, who basically showed us how this works. But basically, it's going to look more like this. And then the raw APIs will be here.
Nick, I'm sending you the link.
Yeah, send me the link. That would be actually very nice.
All right.
Live on the
this is cool.
Yeah, I'll let you cut up the interview and do all the work to make it super exciting.
I'll just keep it in there.
All right, let me. Oh boy, I'm afraid to put my Discord on because I know there's going to be a ton of people. So I'll go to the pre-prod version.
I'll cut it out.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. So my brother has generously.
Search functionality works.
Cool. So it looks like basically now it's the site guide. We're going to have a logged in, logged out section, and it's going to have basically not only the documentation from APIs, but also kind of a site guide because it's getting very complicated now behind the scenes. You saw with the leveling system. It's quite convoluted. So there is, we're basically trying to showcase how all this works and everything. We got to update some of this. But for the most part, we've got basically the collections, the upgrade, and then here the documentation for this. So that's basically what we're going to do to make it really easy for people that are more code intensive to do more complex things.
All right, this is really cool.
Yes. Oh, and this site is updated now. It's it's upgraded, so now we can, if we want, upgrade to the green.
Right. Okay. Amazing. Okay, Nick. This is a really cool future for the NFT marketplaces and any project that's out there at the moment that's considering moving to this brand new standard. It's going to make the whole NFT space very exciting. And like I said, dynamic. Love the name. It just says it all.
Yeah, this was also, we kind of simultaneously came up with this with Cardano, who also has a CIP-68 system running. And they were using dynamic, and we had it on our site too. It was like, all right, we're going to run with this dynamic NFTs.
Brilliant. All right, Nick. You've left me with more information than I can absorb, and now I have to take it all away and work out how it's going to be integrated into our own project. and what we're going to do with it all as well. But I'm so happy to see like how easy it is to use the platform, how flexible it is too, and I can't wait to get my hands dirty on it.
Of course. Yeah, fantastic. It was very nice talking to you, Pete.
Now, I hope you guys got something out of that. I certainly did. I've got so much to think about for our own NFT collection, the Cardano Press Wapus, how that's going to incorporate dynamic NFTs, how we're going to upgrade them, how we're going to evolve them over time, and how it's going to fit into our subscription model for the platform as well. So I'm really excited about this one. Got a lot to think about and a lot of research to do, but it's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. Cardano Press Wapus are going to be dynamic Cardano NFTs. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving me that thumbs up, click subscribe, click on that notification bell. You get so much more Cardano related content from me. You can also become a member now as well. That's an extra little add-on there. And we have all sorts of different merchandise coming out from our merch store, and we'll be adding more and more very, very soon. All right, that's it for me for this video. I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debate.